Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I am Riaz Hussain Junejo and I am delivering the video lectures for the course of Applied Electricity and Electronics. Course code is CEE103. This course is being offered by the Department of Electrical and Computer Engineering, Comsat University Islamabad Y campus for the semester of fall 2020. This is a series of lectures and today we are going to discuss lecture number 11 and today's topic is problems on series and parallel resistances. Previously we have studied that what happens when resistances are in series and what happens when resistances are in parallel. We discussed the formula for current division and voltage division. Also we found the formula for total or equivalent resistance in case of parallel and series resistances. So let's apply those formula on the actual circuits and see what happens to the circuits and how we can simplify the circuits and how we can find the unknown quantities such as currents and voltages in a given circuit. Again, for the reminder of the students, this is a series of lectures and in total we'll be discussing like 32 lectures, and these video lectures and lecture slides are being prepared from the textbook of fundamentals of electric circuits, and the author is Alexander Sadiko. So let's start. So let's see an example. The examples and problems are taken from the textbook. So problem is find the R equivalent for the circuit shown. R equivalent means total resistance between terminals. Let's suppose in this and this terminal. So you can see that as is seen from these two terminals onward there are only resistances. So we can simplify resistances using series parallel techniques, and we can replace all these resistances with single resistance that will be R equivalent or R total. So R equivalent will be the resistance as seen by the ohm meter when it is connected across these two terminals. So now looking at the circuit, we can see that obviously 1 ohm resistance and 5 ohm resistance are in series, and obviously 3 ohm resistance and 6 ohm resistance are in parallel. Just remember that in series there will be no division in the current. So imagine that there is certain current flowing from 1 ohm resistance, so same current that will be flowing from 5 ohm resistance, because these two resistances are connected in cascade or back to back. Similarly, you can see that 3 ohm resistance and 6 ohm resistance are in parallel, because 3 ohm resistance is connected at this point and 6 ohm resistance is also connected at this point. So this point is common. Similarly, another second point of the 3 ohm is here, and this is same as 6 ohm resistance. So end point is also same, and starting point is also common in between 6 and 3 ohm resistances. So we can say that 6 ohm and 3 ohm are in parallel. So let's see. Clearly we can see that 6 ohm is in parallel with 3 ohm. This is the symbol for parallel resistances. So we know that when two resistances are in parallel, their equivalent will be simply product of their resistances divided by sum. So their equivalent resistance is 6 ohm in parallel with 3 ohm will be 6 into 3 divided by 6 plus 3. So this will be 18 divided by 9. So this will be 2 ohm resistances. So this means that we can simply replace 3 ohm and 6 ohm in parallel with a single resistance whose resistance will be 2 ohm. So now we can redraw the circuit as shown. Similarly, we can combine 1 and 5 ohm resistance, since these two are in series. So their equivalent will be 1 plus 5, that will be 6 ohm resistance. So this 6 ohm is the equivalent of 1 and 5 in series, and this 2 ohm is same. Now 6 and 3 we have combined and constructed a simple equivalent circuit or equivalent resistance of these two resistances, and their equivalent is 2. So remember that their equivalent will be still connected where these two elements were connected. So these two elements were connected at this point and this point. So this 2 ohm resistance will be connected precisely where the original two resistances and parallel were connected. So now this will be the resulting circuit. So now we can again see that there are certain resistances in series and there are certain resistances in parallel. One thing you can see that now this 2 ohm resistance and this 2 ohm resistances are in series, so we can combine, and their equivalent is actually in parallel with 6 ohm resistance. So we can simply say that clearly 2 ohm and this 2 ohm resistance are in series, so their total is obviously 2 plus 2, that will be 4 ohm resistance. So next, we can see that 4 ohm resistance is in parallel with 6 ohm resistance. So again, since there are two resistances in parallel, so we can use the formula of product divided by sum. So we can say that this 4 ohm resistance is in parallel with 6 ohm, so their equivalent will be 4 ohm in parallel with 6 ohm. So this will be 4 multiplied by 6 divided by 4 plus 6, that will be 24 divided by 10, and this is obviously 2.4 ohm. Remember that, and this product divided by sum formula is only applicable when two resistances are in parallel. So now we can simplify this circuit again. We can actually replace this whole resistance or network using this resistance whose value is 2.4. So this will be the resulting circuit. This 4 ohm resistance is same, this 8 ohm resistance is same. Now we have simplified network across these two terminals. Their equivalent is 2.4. Now you can see that these three resistances are in series. That is, imagine that if a current flows from this terminal in 4 ohm resistance, same current will be flowing through 2.4 ohm resistance, and same current will be flowing through 8 ohm resistances. So the circuit will be reduced as shown. Now total resistance, that is resistance across these two terminals, will be 4 plus 2.4 plus 8, that will be 14.4 ohm. This will be the resistance between terminals. Let's call this terminal A, and let's call this terminal B. So resistance across terminals A and B are, this will be the equivalent resistance. So remember that it means that when we connect ohm meter across these two terminals, the reading on the display of the ohm meter will be 14.4 ohm. Or if we can want to replace this whole complicated network using single resistance, so its value should be 14.4 ohm. So extreme cases in parallel resistances, we already mentioned that uh, when two resistances are in parallel and one of them is, let's suppose, open circuit, so in that case a current I, let's suppose it is the total current flowing, and then that same current will be flowing through R1 because R2 is open. In that case, current through resistance R2 will be 0. There it is not possible that current may be flowing through an open circuit. So in this case I2 will be 0. So whole of the or all of the amount of the current I will be flowing through R1. So this is one of the cases of the extreme cases of the parallel. You can see that in parallel resistances, if one of the resistances become open, still current can be flowing through other resistances. So another extreme case is the when one of the resistances in is short circuited. So in this case, let's suppose that R2 is short circuited. So in this case, it means that R2 is mathematically 0. So obviously now let's suppose that I current, total I current is flowing. So in this case, we know that current actually follows the path of the minimum resistance. So in this case, minimum resistance is 0. So all of the current I will be flowing through R2, there will be no current flowing through R1. That is, I1 will be 0, but I2 will be equal to I. All of the current of I will be flowing through resistance R2. So again, this is what happens when there's a short circuit in any kind of network. In this case, all of the current flows through that short circuited, and other all other components or resistances draw almost zero current. In general, it is often convenient and possible to combine resistance in series and parallel and reduce the network to a single equivalent resistances, that is R equivalent or RAB. Just like we have seen in the previous example, that we can simplify the network when the resistances are in either in parallel or in series. And we can very easily simplify the network and replace all of the network with a simple resistor whose value is R equivalent. Let's see an example. Find I naught and V naught in the circuit. Also calculate the power dissipated in the 3 ohm resistance. This is a very simple circuit. We have already seen such circuits, and we have solved the circuit using Kirchhoff current law and Kirchhoff voltage law. But now we want to simplify this circuit using series and parallel resistances. So one thing you can see that actually I is the current that is flowing through, that is provided by the battery, and whose voltage is 12 volt. This is a constant voltage source. And another component in the circuit is 4 ohm resistance. Current in the 4 ohm resistance is I, and another component is 6 ohm and 3 ohm. So 6 ohm resistance is connected across terminals A and B. Similarly, 3 ohm resistance is connected across terminals A and B. Voltage across resistance 3 ohm is V naught, and current flowing through that resistance is I naught. So we want to find the current and voltage across 3 ohm resistance. So you can see that this 3 ohm resistance and 6 ohm resistance is obviously in parallel with each other, because their starting point is common and ending point is also common. So we can easily find their equivalent and total resistance, and next we can find the total current. Then we can see that this total current is divided between 6 ohm and 3 ohm resistance. So let's proceed. We can combine 6 ohm and 3 ohm resistance. Obviously these are in parallel. Why these are in parallel? Because their starting point is A and ending point is also, in fact, ending point is B. So it means that they are actually in parallel. So we know that when two resistances are in parallel, we can simplify them using the formula product divided by sum of the resistances. So 6 multiplied by 3 divided by 6 plus 3. So this will be 18 divided by 6 plus 3 is 9. 18 divided by 9 is 2 ohm. So equivalent of 3 and 6 will be 2 ohm resistance. So now we can redraw the circuit across terminals A and B. So we can see that now we have actually V naught here. You can see that since these are in parallel, so still we can find label this voltage across this equivalent 2 ohm resistance as V naught. So we can simply find the voltage divider rule. So or we can simplify find the total current. So you can see that total current will be total voltage, that is 12 volt, divided by total resistance of the circuit. So you can see that these 4 and 2 are in now series, so their equivalent or sum will be 4 plus 2, that will be 6. So we can use Ohm's law, that is I is equal V divided by R. So voltage across these two terminals is 12, and resistance across these two terminals will be 4 plus 2. So 4 plus 2 is 6. So 12 divided by 6 will be 2 ampere. So 2 ampere will be the current that is flowing through the main branch of the circuit, and this I current is actually divided in between 3 and 6 ohm. So now we can use the also a voltage divider rule here to find V naught. So we can know that voltage is divided in series resistances. So this means that this 12 volt is actually divided in between 4 and 2 ohm resistances. So we can easily find V naught. So V naught will be resistance. We want to find the voltage. So here voltage resistance is 2 divided by the sum of the resistances. So 2 divided by 2 plus 4 multiplied by total applied voltage, that is 12. So 2 into 12 will be 24 divided by 2 plus 6 is 2 plus 4 is 6, so 24 divided by 6 is 4 volts. So V naught is actually 4. Similarly, now we can easily find I naught. So we can see that I is divided between 6 ohm and 3 ohm. Already we have mentioned that this current I is actually divided in the parallel resistances of 6 and 3. Voltage is still V naught across 3 ohm and 6 ohm, that is 4 volt, but current will be obviously different because resistances are in parallel. So we can use the current divider rule in this circuit. So for finding I naught, so I naught will be, because we want to find the current in this resistance, so we have take the resistance in the parallel direction, that is 6. So 6 divided by sum of the resistance is 6 plus 3 9 multiplied by the current that is divided. You can see that I current is divided, so multiplied by 2 ampere. So 6 into 2 will be 12 divided by 9, so this will be 4 upon 3 amperes or 1.33 amperes. So this is the value of I naught and this is the value of V naught. We could have used the value of V naught to find I naught as well. So since V naught is actually 4, so resistance is 3, so obviously I naught will be equal to V naught divided by 3, so that will be 4 divided by 3 ampere, still same. So either you can use the current divider or you can use the Ohm's law as well. So for the power dissipated, next we want to find the power dissipated in the 3 ohm resistance. We know that power is actually some product of the voltage and current in that branch or resistance. So voltage is actually voltage across 3 ohm resistance is 4 multiplied by current is 4 upon 3. So 4 into 4 will be 16 divided by 3. This will be 5.33 watts. So this will be the power dissipated in 3 ohm resistance. Let's see another example. Determine RAB for this circuit shown. This is circuit. You can see that if we look across terminals A and B, we can see that this is some kind of complicated circuit. But still, if we apply series and parallel resistance technique, we can simplify the circuit and easily find the resistance across terminals A and B. Remember that RAB means resistance across terminals A and B. So it means that if we connect ohm meter across a resistance A and B and we set this network like shown, what will be the reading of the ohm meter? So obviously we can see that 5 and this 20 ohm resistance are in parallel because their starting point is common and ending point is also same or common. So we can simplify these resistances and then for series we don't see any series or any other parallel combination here, so we can start from these two resistances. So clearly 20 ohm and 5 ohm resistances are in parallel, hence their equivalent will be, again remember that for two resistances to be in parallel, their equivalent will be 20 in parallel with 5. So this will be 20 multiplied by 20 plus 5. So this will be 100 divided by 25, and this is obviously 4 ohm resistance. So this means that we can replace these two resistances with single resistance whose value will be 4. So this 4 ohm resistance will be obviously in now series with this 1 ohm resistance. Obviously if we replace this whole network with single resistance, then in this case resulting 4 ohm resistance will be in series with 1 ohm. So we know that total resistance in series is actually sum. So total resistance of these two resistance will be 4 plus 1, that is actually 5. So now we can see that actually This 5 ohm resistance, that is the equivalent of these 3 resistance, is like in parallel with 20 ohm resistance, because now the resulting 5 ohm resistance will be connected across this terminal and this terminal, and this 20 is also connected across this terminal and this terminal. So 5 and 20 ohm resistance are in parallel, so we can simplify their equivalent using product divided by sum. So 5 into 20 divided by 5 plus 20, that will be 100 divided by 25, that is 4 ohm resistance. So the equivalent of these 4 resistance will be actually 4 ohm resistance. Now if we replace this 4 ohm resistance here, we can see that this will be in series with 2 ohm resistance. So their equivalent will be 4 plus 2, that is 6. So we can now simplify this whole resistance network with a single resistance whose value will be 6 ohm resistance. So if we place that 6 ohm resistance here, we can see that now that 6 ohm resistance, 9 and 18 will be in parallel. So 6, 9 and 18 are in parallel. 6, where this 6 actually this is the equivalent of this all network. So obviously in that case we can see that actually these are in parallel with 9 and 18, because their starting point is common and their ending point is also common. This is B point, and here obviously when we will simplify this whole network, this will be also connected from this point to B point. So their combined resistance is actually reciprocal of their of the sum of their reciprocal, that is 1 upon 6 plus 1 upon 9 plus 1 upon 18. So we can easily simplify using some scientific calculator. So their result will be 3 ohm. So now this whole 3 network can be replaced using single resistance whose value is 3 ohm resistance. So now this 3 ohm resistance is obviously in series with 16 resistance. So their equivalent will be, or RAB will be equal to 16 plus 3, that will be 90 ohms. So actually resistance across terminals A and B is 19. So one thing I want to mention that because of space and time, I cannot draw the resulting circuit when we have simplified the circuit our elements here. So for students it is important that just like we have combined these two resistance, you should actually redraw this circuit and see how the circuit looks like. Similarly, when we have combined these resistances, then you should redraw the circuit again and see that what happens to the circuit. Similarly, at each step, when we combine certain resistances, you should actually replace the or redraw the circuit so that we can easily see that how the circuit looks like. So let's see another example. Find I naught and V naught in this circuit. I guess this circuit already we have simplified, and we have found that the value, but here actually we have found I naught, and using that I naught we have find the value of V naught using Ohm's law. Previously we had used voltage divider and current divider, but just like I mentioned there at that point, that you can still use the Ohm's law. So just like here, since now we have I naught, and for I naught we have used the current divider rule, so we can use Ohm's law, that V is equal to IR, so we can find the V naught is equal to 3 I naught. So there are so many techniques or methods or approaches to solve a simple circuit. So let's see another circuit. Find V1 and V2 in this diagram shown. This is actually a circuit, so we want to find the voltage V1 and also current in 12 ohm resistance I1, voltage across 12 ohm resistance is V1. Similarly, we want to find V2, that is voltage across 40 ohm resistance. So imagine that current in that resistance is 40, in fact I2. So total applied voltages are 3. So you can see that there are total 5 elements or branches: 30 volt, 12 ohm, 6 ohm, 10 ohm, and 40 ohm. So luckily we can see that this is simple parallel and series circuit. actually 6 ohm and 12 ohm resistances are in parallel, so voltage across them will be same. So if here voltage across 12 ohm resistance is V1, same voltage will be across 6 ohm, so voltage across 6 ohm resistance is still V1. Similarly, voltage across 40 ohm resistance is V2, and since 40 ohm resistance is in parallel with 10 ohm, so we can say that voltage across 10 ohm resistance will be V2, but current are different. So I1 maybe here obviously different current will be flowing, and here in 10 ohm resistance current will be also different. So how we can proceed? We can easily simplify the parallel combination of these resistances and parallel combination of these two resistances. So total resistance as seen from the battery will be equal to 12 parallel with 6 and plus 10 in parallel with 40, because when we simplify or replace this resistance with a single resistance, that this will be in series with the combination of these two resistances. So total resistance as seen from the terminals of battery will be 12 in parallel with 6 plus 10 in parallel with 40. So this will be we can simplify parallel combination of these two resistance. This will be 12 multiplied by 6 plus 12 multiplied by 6 divided by 12 plus 6 plus 10 multiplied by 40 divided by 10 plus 40. So we can use the calculator. So this will be 12 ohm. So this is the total actually resistance of the network. So we can find the total current that is provided by the 30 volt. So that will be obviously total voltage divided by total resistance. So I will be equal to 30 divided by 12, so 2.5 amperes. Okay, so this is the total current that is being provided or in this main branch of the circuit here. So obviously this current will be divided here in between 6 ohm and 12 ohm resistance. So we can use the current divider rule. So we have I1 will be, remember that for I1 we have to use the opposite resistance. So 6 divided by 6 plus 12 multiplied by 2.5. So this will be 0.833 amperes. Similarly, when these two currents I1 and current in 6 ohm resistance combine here, it will be again equal to total current. So that total current will be now divided between resistance 40 and 10. So we can anyway we can find voltage V1, that will be equal to, according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So this will be I1 multiplied by 12. So this will be 12 multiplied by 0.833. This will be 10 volt. Similarly, for I2, we can use the current divider rule. This will be 10. That is because we want to find the current here. So we have to take the opposite resistance that is in parallel with the resistance under consideration. This will be 10 divided by 10 plus 40 multiplied by 2.5. So this will be 0.5 amperes. So now finally we can easily find V2. So V2 will be equal to 40 multiplied by I2. So this will be 40 multiplied by 0.5. This will be obviously 20 volts. So using this series parallel technique, we can easily find the especially current and voltage in parallel or series resistances. Let's see another example. Determine V naught. So let I be the current in the 9k ohm resistance. You can see that actually want to find the current in 9k ohm resistances. So let's suppose that I be the current here. So obviously total current supplied is 30 milliampere. So this current will be divided in here in between 6k plus 12 and 9k ohm resistance. So we can easily use the current divider. So this I will be equal to 18k, that is resistance opposite to the resistance under consideration, because we want to find the current in this resistance. So opposite resistance will be 6 plus 12, 18 divided by 6 plus 12 plus 9, 27k multiplied by total current is 30 ampere. So this is 20 milliampere. Now we have the current here. So using Ohm's law, we know that voltage will be current multiplied by resistance. So 9 kilo multiplied by 20 milliampere, this will be 180 volts. So V naught will be equal to 180 volts. Let's see another example. For the circuit shown, find V naught and in fact V1 and V2. Want to find V1 and V2 here. This is actually series and parallel combination of the circuit. Total current provided is actually by this current source, that is 30 milliampere. So we can see that let I1 and I2 be the branch currents in the 9K and 60K ohm resistances. So let's suppose that I1 will be maybe the current flowing in this branch, and I2 is the current flowing in 60K ohm resistances. So we can see that this 30 milliampere is actually divided between 3K and parallel combination of these two resistances. So clearly I1 will be, that is current in here, this will be equal parallel combination of these two resistances divided by total sum of the all resistances multiplied by total current, that is 30 milliampere. So total or equivalent of these will be 15K in parallel with 60K divided by 15K in parallel with 60K plus 3K and plus 9K and multiply by 30 milliampere. So we can again simplify using calculator. So I1 will be equal to parallel combination of these two is actually 12K divided by 12K plus 3K plus 9K multiplied by 30 milliampere. So in this case I1, that is current flowing in this branch, is 15 milliamperes. So now we can find V1 using Ohm's law. Or one more thing, you can see that remain 30 milliampere is actually flowing here. So obviously remaining 15 milliampere, 15 milliampere is flowing in this branch. So remaining 15 milliampere out of 30 milliampere will be flowing here. So it means that actually 15 milliamperes further divided in between 60K and 15K. So anyway, V1 we can easily find that V1 will be equal to I1 multiplied by 9K, that is V is equal to IR. So I1 is actually 15 milliampere multiplied by 9K. So this is actually 135 volts. So similarly we can find I2. So I2, remember that actually I2 is the current in 60 ohm resistance as already assumed. So current in 60 ohm resistance we can easily see that 15 milliampere is divided in between 15K and 60K. So we can use the current divider rule. So this will be 15K divided by 15 plus 60K multiplied by total incoming current in this branch, that is 15 milliampere. So I2 is 3 milliampere. So now finally we have V2. So according to Ohm's law, V is equal to IR. So this will be equal to 3 milliampere multiplied by resistance is 60K. So this will be 180 volts. So these are the values of the V1 and V2. Thank you so much. Next we will see some star delta transformation theory and problem. Thank you again.